Alright, the Reds, talking Reds, me, Gareth Roberts, me and Ryan, a bit later than we planned because someone decided to make the major artery route through Liverpool an absolute shit show. So well in for that. The Strand's a fucking joke, you tit. Okay, that's out the way. The Reds, how are you feeling about the Reds?
How am I feeling about the Reds? I mean, it's a game, it's a big game, isn't it? It's a game you want to win, but I think in the context of this season, it does feel different. You can't get away from that, can you? You know, a Liverpool-Man United game is one of the standouts. It's one of the ones where when the fixture list comes out, you're looking to see where that game is. You're looking to see where everything is. And because of how the season's gone, I think everyone feels a little bit flat. But that said, you're going to win Sunday, and there's not many better games to give you a bit of a lift, is there? You can go there, and I think we can go there and win because I think the away record's been decent. They've just played a game, or albeit, you know, they battered Roma 6-2, and they look decent second half. You have to say that, but it's another game in their legs, isn't it? And they've got a second leg, and I know they're probably through now, but maybe he'll think about rotating one or two, and I think it gives Liverpool half a chance. So I'm going into it probably thinking a little bit more confidently than what I thought I might do, to be honest. Yeah,
it's a weird one, isn't it? Because our record there has been shocking. That we sort of re-established the situation where we shit the bed when we go to Old Trafford, which, you know, we're old enough to remember when that used to be the case. We sort of put it aside a bit and got one or two decent results, but it seems to have returned now. And obviously it's different, it's without fans and all that, but it's still them, it's still Old Trafford. And like, we just need to go there and perform. I mean, you know, the FA Cup game was annoying, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In that, you know, we deserved something from that, at the very least extra time. And to lose in the manner we did was tough to take.
Well, the FA Cup one, I mean, you're looking at individual errors, and then there's a couple of missed chances as well, isn't it? And you're right. I mean, that was a game, I think, going into it, I probably wasn't expecting much, to be honest, but we actually go and do pretty well. We take the lead. I think, I'm guessing it's a little bit said on other shows, Liverpool's record against United since we've had Klopp at their place, it's not been great, has it? It's felt like, I don't know, it's hard to put your finger on why, because we've been a much better team than them, and yet when we go there, it looks like we're playing within ourselves. You could maybe say similar about Goodison Park at times as well, but certainly Old Trafford, I just want to see us go there, and what I have wanted to see is go there and stamp our authority, and we've not done that, have we, at all? We've looked a little bit timid, we've played very conservative, even when we've been at our absolute best going into the game, and they look shy, you're thinking, we'll go there and absolutely walk all over them, and it's not been the case. So it's hard to put your finger on why, because, you know, you come back to their manager, and he's not the best, but I suppose what they have got, Robbo, is they've got players in the final third who can hit you, given the chance, and you know, you saw it last night. I thought Cavani's finish, I think it was for his first or second goal, where he puts it top in. It was a lovely finish, and he's capable of that. Rashford's similar. I think Greenwood's a really good player as well, and obviously Fernandes pulls the strings and stuff on a fairly regular basis, so they have got lads who can hit, but for some reason I'm a little bit more confident than what I thought it'd be.
Yeah, because one of the ones that was annoying was, as you say, where you looked at the two teams, was when we're going for the title and we go there, and for some reason their fans decided to support them that day, and like, you know, you could hear them. They really wanted to beat Liverpool that day as a collective, and we didn't perform to the level that you expect, that you want, and that's what I'm just desperate to see, as you say. I just want them to turn up. I want them to play well, and look, maybe it is better that it's there, because, you know, as you say, there's been a little mini run of decent-ish form away from home.
Well, at home, I mean, you can't get away from the fact we've looked fucking terrible. I mean, let's be honest. You know, there's been little green shoots every now and again, but over a long period of time now, it's not been good enough at home, and we've struggled. And I think, you know, away from home, I mean, it's weird because there's no fans anywhere, so it shouldn't matter that much. But I almost think the home and away thing now just feels like it doesn't really matter where you are. You know, if you're at home or not, you've got just as much chance as losing the game as if you're away from home and stuff. That's why I was saying the other day, when, you know, City go and beat PSG, I don't think that ties over, because I think PSG could go there and win 2 or 3-1, you know what I mean? So I just want us to go maybe a little bit shackles off, and it does feel like the pressure's off a little bit, because I don't think we can get top 4 now. I said that after Leeds, and it maybe sounded a little bit defeatist after Leeds, because I don't think anything was totally lost then. But I just didn't see them putting enough of a run together to go and, you know, claim that 4th spot or 3rd spot, as it might have been then, because I think Leicester was still in the mix. If they win tonight, they're probably too far ahead. So I'm not sure there'll be players thinking top four's there now, so it might be a case of shackles off. You can just kind of go and play your own game, not worry about anything too much. I suppose what will come into play is, you know, what's going on with that back four, because I don't think that Phillips is fit, is he?
No, so it doesn't look like he didn't train on Wednesday.
So it might be a case of, well, Fabinho's in the back four again, which I know some people don't like because they want to see him in midfield. I totally get that argument, because I think if you could choose, you want him in the centre of the park. But if Nat Phillips is not fit, there's not a great deal of options as to play there.
Rhys Williams in it,
and Rhys Williams, you talked about the FA Cup game, he plays in that, doesn't he, Rhys Williams? And doesn't go particularly well, does it? Let's be honest. It's a bit of a car crash for him.
I mean, and he obviously just doesn't fancy Ben Davies. I mean, I think it goes without saying that.
Fucking hell.
The lad's not going to get a game, is he?
There's no chance of you fucking starting fucking Ben Davies. Where is
like, who's that lad that Everton bought? It was a Coldrup or something. And like, he just never played.
Honestly.
And then they sold him again. I think it looks like it's going to be one of them.
It must have been a real like break last moment, mustn't it? If we're absolute down to our bare bones, then we'll give him a go. But he's not prepared to use him by the looks of it.
Not even had him on the bench.
No, he's hardly made the bench. And listen, Klopp's seen him every day in training, so he's best placed. He thinks he's shit, clearly. No, but when he signed him, he made remarks, didn't he, about saying, listen, we wouldn't normally go shopping there for players. And I think that told you a lot then. It was like, well, I don't think he really fancies this guy, but he's probably just giving himself a bit of a safety net if he needs one. And yeah,
like when you get a t-shirt from George and you just wear it around the house. You're not putting that on for the night outside.
Wear it out, you. See it later.
You've got it on tonight.
I've got this sip cup. So I don't think you'll see him. I mean, I don't think you'll see him. I mean, there's been games at home where you're thinking, if you're not going to see him now, Ben Davies, then you're probably never going to see him, are you?
I think it's probably making a profit on him as well.
Well, yeah, and you could argue, you know, that's probably one of the things they've looked at and gone, you know, well, we can bring him in, relatively low fee, and we'll shift him for a little bit more. You know, that does seem to be the model, doesn't it? So yeah, I think you'll see a little bit of that in terms of the summer. But yeah, going into this one, I'm sure once it gets closer to kick-off, you'll start feeling it a little bit more. I've noticed that this season. I think going into the games, because we're so used to being there and we're lucky to go there, you're up for it a lot earlier, aren't you? Because you know you're going to be, it's part of your week, so you're planning it, you're thinking about it. Now you're not, you're just like kind of putting yourself in front of the TV and watching it, and that's a different experience. And you know, I've said it before about, I actually can't wait for this to finish now, the season, to some extent, because I can't wait to get back on the ground, and I can't wait to feel.
It looks like we'll be in for. We'll be in for, or 10,000 will be in for Crystal Palace. I mean, obviously, you presume it's going to be a ballot system again and all that, so it's a bit of a lottery about who actually ends up in there, but that will be good. That will be a start, and then, like you say, hopefully. I mean, this is one of my things about this game this weekend. I mean, I'm like you, I'm thinking about next season now already, and I'm thinking, well, if you beat United, it's just like a little bit of a marker down for next season, and it might not necessarily lead to top four and all that, because it's a huge ask, and you'd have to win 5 out of 5, and we haven't looked like doing that for a while. But you beat them. I don't know. Like, I think about that. I always say about that season before 13, 14, when at the tail end of the season we started clicking, we started playing good football. Sturridge and Coutinho were linking up and things like that, and you just thought, hang on, we can do something here. And then we carried it into the following season. Well,
I think that's got to be the message, hasn't it, from the manager? And I think, you know, he'll be looking at players now, and maybe he'll be making 1 or 2 decisions on some of them. I think there's obvious question marks over some, because, let's be honest, at the minute it's not been particularly great on the pitch all the time, and yet there's certain lads who just aren't getting a look in. You know what I mean? He's not turning to Keita, he's not turning to Chamberlain, he's not really turning to Shaqiri. So you've got to think that probably means one thing, that there's a big question mark over those players and their futures. That said, if you don't make the Champions League, you've got to be thinking about, well, what are the finances? How can you bring players in? You're going to have to shift a few, then replace them, but you've got to juggle the finances, because I don't think anyone's going to have loads of money. I don't think Liverpool are going to have loads of money. We've all seen the accounts, you know what I mean? So he's got to be thinking about that. But I think, yeah, there's opportunities for maybe 1 or 2 just to start reminding the manager that there is a future there for them. But I think in the case of maybe the players I've mentioned, maybe his mind's already made up.
Yeah. A few other things going on. We're saying farewell today to Lizzie Doyle, who you will have known from videos, podcasts and everything else. She's been brilliant for the Anfield Wrap. She's going to work for the BBC, so fair play to her. She's done well. We're all going to miss her because she's thrown things together here and made it a bit less crazy. So yeah, we're all going out for a bevy tonight to say our farewells to Lizzie. So if you're on social media or whatever, wish her well and things like that. The other thing going on is there is a social media blackout from this afternoon until Monday midnight. The Anfield Wrap's getting behind that. We're doing our bit. We've looked at it and thought, well, the players are getting behind it. It's come from them. We want to support what they're doing, so we're going to do our bit, and we're not going to put anything out on social between those times. So if you ordinarily turn to social to find our stuff, if you subscribe and that's where you see the shows, just check, you know, on apps and things like that rather than on social. Just briefly on that, what do you make of that? I mean, you know, there's lots of different views about it, obviously. It's something, I would say, although it's probably not going to solve anything, unfortunately, in terms of people being bellends on social media. No, it's not. I mean, I think it was Thierry Henry who came out first and said he's going to obviously take himself off social media. You know, fair play. He's a big name, isn't he? But it does need others, I think, to kind of join him. And I think that's what we've seen this weekend. And I think it's right that everyone, where you can, gets involved in that, because the only way you're going to see a little bit of change, Robbo, if people do stop using it, because it winds you up. You know, I think you'll have seen it before. I'm sure you've done it yourself, where you could say, you know, you could call someone a bellend or something and find yourself in hot water. And then there's other names being thrown out there to our players, sometimes from our own fans as well, which makes it even worse at times. Trent Naby and Sadio have all experienced racism. Yeah,
it makes it even worse. And you know, nothing gets done. And if you're those players, if you're anyone, player or not, it just shouldn't be happening, and you shouldn't have to put up with it. And there's got to be a better way of monitoring and clocking these people. And if they are found to be doing stuff like that, then there's got to be consequences. Yeah. And I think that's what gets people now. There's no consequences. You can go on faceless as a little egg and just throw random names around at anyone, and there's no comeback. And that just can't be right. You couldn't do it in the streets, so why can you get away with it on social media? Yeah. You just shouldn't be able to. And I think enough's enough. People have got to take a stand, and I'm for one. I'm behind the kind of the weekend blackout thing. So yeah, hopefully there's a little bit of a turn of the tide now, and people start behaving a little bit better. It will take time, you know. If this is going to just change anything overnight, is it? You're going to still see issues, you're going to still see problems, but hopefully it might make one or two start thinking a little bit differently. Yeah, hopefully it kick up the arse for the actual platforms as well, to think about what they can do and do something a bit different, other than, you know, you can just report abuse and not much happens. You get a 24-hour, 48-hour, whatever it might be, ban. It's got to be a little bit more than that. But yeah, that's happening over the weekend, so get behind that. And yeah, of course, Liverpool are going to Old Trafford, playing Manchester United. We'll be doing all the usual stuff around that, so there'll be a hot mic, alternative commentary from the Anfield Wrap. There'll be videos, podcasts, stuff on the website, not stuff on social though. That has been Talking Reds, Friday's Talking Reds, sort of fucking strong out.